Namo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This wonderful sound calls us back to our true home. The first mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I vow to cultivate compassion and learn ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I'm determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to condone any act of killing in the world, in my thinking, or in my way of life. Our Dharma lessons are coming from Ajahn Thiradhammo's book, Working with the Five Hindrances. We're in chapter 1 on a section on morality. Secondly, a good grounding in morality is an essential support for working with the hindrances. It requires quite a bit of generosity to give up my old ways of doing things, to give up my old compulsions, my old habits. I have to learn to give them up in order to keep to the selfless guidelines of the precepts. The word sila, which we normally translate as morality, literally means habit. Practicing morality means giving up those old habits and trying to cultivate more skillful ones, skillful ways of speaking and behaving and relating to the world. This means that, basically, rather than relating from the perspective of selfishness, what's good for me, we learn to behave more from selflessness. Instead of killing somebody because they offended you, allowing them to live requires letting go of your selfish reactions, stepping outside your ideas of your own self-importance and what you consider to be right, and also allowing those people to have a place in your heart as part of the selfless universe. Moral precepts can also provide a wholesome, stable, and safe container within which to work skillfully with the hindrances. For example, when working with the hindrances of sensual desire and ill will, it is especially useful to be able to acknowledge them without acting them out. If we aren't well grounded in skillful behavior, we may try to open to some of the generating forces of desire or ill will and maybe trigger off untamed greed or fury. We may lose control or be taken over by these volatile energies, which can spill out into unskillful action if it isn't contained within the precepts. The precepts give us guidelines for skillful living, but acting out our selfish compulsions and moods is usually not very skillful, either for those around us or for ourselves, because acting them out can reinforce those old habits. The precepts are a reminder of skillful areas in which to contain our conduct and personal energies, physically and mentally. Also, practicing to follow the precepts enables us to develop a high degree of clarity and integrity. Most people keep within the bounds of the socially accepted standards of morality. However, refining them down requires us to observe our behavior and speech more carefully and to be quite truthful with ourselves so as to know exactly where we are in relation to the standards. Feigning to be more moral than we are is not only pretentious, but delusional. How are we going to be honest about our hindrances to spiritual development if we cannot be honest about our actions and speech, which many others can plainly see and hear? May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.